Oh, he's doing it! He's doing it! He's doing it! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Acer Team Story Cup. Let's get these introductions out of the way real fast. Spawning in the top left corner of the map, but leaving his base. It is not. Whoa, where is he? That's right, it's Acer's Innovation. And I love when people do this. His opponent in the top right. His team in a lot of trouble right now. Let's see if he can hold this off. It's going to be the Blue Zerg player for Invictus Gaming, iAsonu. So there's been a lot of talks on ways to deal with this. There's been a lot of ways to counter this for both sides of the party. I think the single strongest way I've seen anyone handle this, and it sounds so dumb to phrase it like this, guys, double extractor trick, 12 drones, pull, and go fight. The thing is, not only are you going to be down a worker because of the time it takes you to float over to this base, you're going to be down several workers because drones just got the extra production capability over you. This is not going to be too great for innovation, but at the same time, he's going to be probably opening us with, I imagine, a bit of racks pressure, triple bunkers if he can throw those down. We've seen MMA actually follow this up against Revolver with a siege tank. But for iAsonu, because he's not going for like a 10 pull or anything, oh boy, he's just going to let this go. So he's going to fight this out. You can hold this off, guys. This is pretty cheesy out of most players. But this is not going to be the easiest thing in the world to deal with for, quite frankly, either sides of the party. I mean, on one hand, you got Innovation, who's going to have 2 racks pumping units right now. The Overlord's going to see this for a little bit, but he'll have to fly away. iAsonu did throw down a pool before going hatchery, but this doesn't make it any easier, because sometimes it's not even just a 2 rack, sometimes it's like a 5 rack, sometimes it's just like some stupid amount of aggression. And we're probably going to have a bunker get slapped down at the very least, bare minimum. At least one. We'll see if more gets put down. With the gold-based economy shooting you up as high as it does early on, one thing you can do as well is easily afford 3 without sacrificing your orbital. The weird irony is you don't actually really need an orbital that much when you're mining off a gold base. You don't get any additional benefit from it, but okay, first bunker going down. iAsonu's going to get in here, start poking away. So I mean, he's fully aware of what's coming. Innovation actually pulls SCVs to protect his bunkers while this is happening. And there's already Lings in the way. You know what? iAsonu might be pretty good for this, guys. He might be good for the initial hold here, but it's not like Innovation's gonna stop at this, right? Although he did pull a lot of SCVs, so maybe actually this could be problematic. This could be big problems. These Marines coming across the map. Gotta be careful. Oh, this SCV. Okay, so another bunker coming down the low ground. This is gonna be intended to protect, but this is so weird to engage on top of for both players, because for iAsonu, obviously he'd love to dive through that, but on the other hand, this isn't actually that big of a threat. All this bunker does will cover the bunker up on the high ground, but if iAsonu can buy enough time, creep will spread and that won't be a problem. Drones are pulled into this though, and a little bit tentative whether he can engage this or not. Could have, should have, would have mineral walk through this. There we go. Mineral walk's a little bit too late. Gets on top of the SCVs, gets on top of the Marines, and the Marine count is actually low enough that this isn't that dangerous, but the bunker completes, and that is dangerous. He's got to back away from this. He holds the bunker on the high ground, or takes out the bunker on the high ground. I don't know why I went Irish there for a moment, but yeah, this is still looking like a lot of problems. The Queen's going to help a lot for this, but the Marines, the Marines have got that bunker to fall back into so safe and sound. A spine collar comes down, but iAsonu's lost a lot of drones to make this happen, and it's not like it's a situation with even worker count. No, because Innovation has a gold base. He's got mules. He's looking pretty damn fine right now. More Zerglings are coming out, but there's no gas behind this. There's no metabolic boost. I can only imagine like the best case scenario in this situation would have been to run past this bunker, go for the mineral lines of your opponent. This is so difficult to judge how this is going to go. A Spike on the high ground would be great. Innovation actually could have floated a barracks over here for high ground vision if he wanted to. That was one really cool thing we saw MMA do when he did this build versus Revolver. He built a barracks on his, like, right over here and just floated it for vision. But okay. Holding for the time being, starting to drone up behind this. He is on 2 bases, he's got a lot of Lings. But I don't think he's got range on that bunker no matter where he puts this. Okay, so for how this is going to go for iAsonu, until he's got speed, he can't really run past this. There's too many Marines. And he has to be able to defend this at the same time. Oh, even bleeding out 1 or 2 like Lings at the moment would be way too dangerous. And I just realized I missed first blood, so too focused on what's going on here. Factory coming down for a siege tank, most likely. start sieging up this ramp, moving forward in that regard. So that puts iAsonu on a bit of a clock. The sooner this completes, the more dangerous this game gets for him. Of course, he's trying to look at what's going on with the Overlord. So he sees the factory coming down. He sees double gases. He's got to know there's a siege tank on the way. For him, his gas, so freaking late. His speed will not be done in time. I think, honestly, that may be the greatest weakness of iAsonu right now. He's not going to have speed in time. I don't know how, but a tank is going to beat speed. He'll be able to throw an attack lab, he'll be able to actually physically build the siege tank, and metabolic boost still won't be finished, which means he's not going to have a way to dive into this mineral line. The bunker salvage... Quick? The bunker salvage moved back? I'm wondering if nothing was in range of it. Maybe it was just... Okay, whatever. Wanting to get away from creep, I suppose. Bailing nest on the way. A bailing bus could help a little bit here. There's a hell of a lot of Marines, but... I don't know what to do at this situation. I think it's gotten a little too out of control for innovation, and a starport even being proxied at the same time. Once this tank gets here, this gets really dangerous. Now, innovation, I think, was thinking about just using the medevac for the high ground vision rather than building a barracks or something to float it, but he's handling this quite well. He's got a full wall off on the off chance that something does try and run by this. If these links did a speed, try to dart across the map. But 2 spine crawlers, some speedlings. I don't think he'll have enough is the problem. He's currently got 31 lings. That's great, but innovation's spread out. He's expecting banelings to come. He knows he's got to cover that tank, and iAsonu can't simply swan dive in there. Like, if he dives in for that tank, he loses all of his Zerglings to the Marine fire. There's more than enough Marines combined with that bunker to hold this. Ooh, I didn't even catch that creep tumor get sniped off over there. But Marines on the ramp, we gotta be careful. Speed's still not done. He's gotta be so careful about engaging into this. He's got so many freaking Zerglings, but no way to fight with them. He's got 32 drones, which is looking good. But what's worth noting, guys, is innovation. You know, we're talking a lot on iAsonu, but he's also on a bit of a clock. Because do keep in mind, it's not as dangerous, of course, but as he's got a gold base running, he's going to mine out much faster. So he's going to put all of his stuff on the line. He all ends with his economy, more or less. And that's what puts him in this precarious situation. The bailing nest is still so far out. Speed is done for these lings. He's got so many Zerglings at this point, guys. 62 Zerglings. This might actually be the numbers he needs to do this. He might actually wait for another round or two to be safe. Bailing nest, I don't know, it's not going to be done in time for this. But there's so many Zerglings. They're going to get one shot by the tanks. That's not a good start, I suppose, but he's waiting until he's got the maximum amount possible to engage this. He can't wait too long, though. This hatchery is under attack. Bailings are morphing in right now, but oh, this one medevac is going to make this hell to deal with. He's already bleeding a lot behind this. 32 lings, 33 lings lost at this point. Bailings are finished. Looks like he's going to push with this. A couple of the Marines can get popped off right away. The hatchery does fall. Gets on top of the tank. Surrounds innovation. There's nothing left in that bunker. These Marines are going to go down. And looks like iAsonu's going to break this. The problem remains, though. There's going to be a defensive tank because that wall off back at home. The starport's going to have to lift up. The tank's going to have to lift up. This factory is going to have to lift up. Actually, maybe not. If you can put the tank on the high ground, it can cover this. But iAsonu's got to retake that base. And quite frankly, if he can, he should try and squeeze out a third. But these depots are down too well. There's not enough Bailings left to bust through this. He's going to have to back off for a moment. If he can morph in 6 Bailings, he can take down those depots and run through that. And it looks like, yep, that's his plan. 5 Bailings on the way. Lots of Zerglings banked up there was the best thing that iAsonu could have done for himself. If he had gone in too soon, if he got over anxious, if he got over eager, this could have been a very bad game. He's going to have this medevac in the main he has to deal with, but there's only 6 Marines inside of it, so not the scariest thing in the world. They do not have stim pack, they don't have +1, they don't have combat shields, and at this point, iAsonu, I think, is just concentrated so heavily on taking out innovation. So he will not bust this bunker down just barely. Oh, that's going to sting, but he gets on top of the SCVs, he gets into the middle line with this bailing. He's going to pop off on top of so much of this, but 2 tanks cover everything, and looks like actually almost no damage gets done in the end. Zerglings will respond to this over here. It's hard to gauge who's in a better spot at this point. I would have to say iAsonu, just honestly, because innovation has to expand backwards. If iAsonu gets a layer up, he can start dropping creep. He makes sure his innovation doesn't go anywhere else. Innovation has actually stopped the creep spread over here. That was actually a smart move earlier with that 1 siege tank blast. But yeah, this medevac is empty. There's nothing to really fear in it. He's being baited out completely and entirely. But Queens are being replenished. Gas stopped being mined. He's focused so heavily on just going for Zerglings right now. For a while, this will work. But as we saw, 2 siege tanks perfectly positioned can kill infinite amount of Zerglings. But he might not find that positioning over here. Actually, you know what? Oh, if he drops 2 tanks, one of the tanks here and one of the tanks here, that'll be the perfect cover. There's not a lot of lings left for iAsonu at this point. He's gone back to droning. He's only got 14 Zerglings available. It's one of those things where you need to have the Zerglings available ahead of time, but goes in for the mineral line, goes for the dive. There's tanks in this drop, guys, not just Marines. And that Queen goes down so fast. Without the Queen, there's no anti-air for these, for the Banshee. Oh, but a lift off immediately is going to allow him to snipe off so many free Banelings here. Oh, he needed these so badly. Queen's going to come up here, but one Queen actually cannot take on a Banshee. Innovation's drops are going to be what win him this game. I think this is kind of the Star Station effect. We see Marines in the front line just shredding to pieces these Zerglings. Tank's going to take out the Queen, and iAsonu, who was once in a good position this game, suddenly in so much trouble. These 2 drops from Innovation. There's nobody else who could make this work the way he does, but somehow Innovation does. Keeping his Marines pulled back. GG is going to be slapped down. Game number 4. Innovation.